Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and it is Lauren in the phone. Your dad's not a phone man.
Yeah, throw it on the ground.
To the ground. Best film clip ever. And we just wanted to say welcome to 2022. I know Lauren's already said it. We've had mucho technical issues, but that's all squared away now, sort of. You know, we've got a new camera that's sort of working. Killies, come here, buddy. I've got my secret offsider down here. Yep, a Greek hero who loves to sit on my lap when no one else is around. We've got Simon Powell, the Raffy there. We've got Daz, the herders of cattle.
Yep, Mr. Peck enjoying some pizza tonight.
Mr. Penson is in Nam, always is in Nam.
Yep.
You know.
Rob Kent's here.
Hey, Rob, how you going, Master of Hounds? I've got a bone to pick too. Sydney Watson the other day said Australia is free. It's not like other countries. Sydney Watson, Australian YouTuber.
Yeah.
You know, going, at least we don't get thrown in jail for, you know, mosquitoes and all sorts of weird sort of shit. And I went, in Townsville, if you've got water sitting around, you can get a police offence against your name just for having buckets of water that aren't emptied.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm sort of on a tangent.
Okay, do you want me to say hello? We got Bob Killer Gaming here. He's leaving to Kapuka tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, really nervous.
No, Kapuka's not open yet.
This is what Bob Killer Gaming is saying. Then he might be looking to go into quarantine.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Life's going to suck as of tomorrow. The flickering of the lights, it'll be in your mind forever. Hallway 11. Hallway 11!
Mark Zamp is here. Phoenix Knight is here.
Hey, Phoenix Knight. Here you go, mate. Thank you for your messages.
Is here. Carl P is here.
Because the Army Reserve doesn't actually start parading yet. I believe it's next week.
There you go. Daz is here.
He's always here.
Daz is here. MSC is here, and MSC actually has her assessment day at the end of this month. She's hoping it won't be postponed.
And hopefully they don't find anything wrong with your body that you don't know exists.
Yeah, exactly. So things are starting to work again for the ADF, I guess.
Yeah, Emma should go in there on the assessment day and go, you know what? Since I've really tried some more exotic drugs, I've been a better team member, especially people of other colours and cultures. It just really does it better for me. Like, if Ed B was here right now, I'd let him know what I think. Shit, there's Ed B right now.
And Stickman is here. Jesse Bray is here. I hope the ladies are well, Jesse.
Jesse's got a baby.
His enlistment date is on the 18th. That is exciting.
That's not far away. Welcome to the Australian Army stream as we start to veer away from the topic, as we stay on here. Basically, a few more streams will be about that. We're going to get away more towards living life. The reason is because Lauren and I, as we speak, we've got a lot of people here that aren't in the Army, that aren't ever going to be in the Army. And the last thing we want to do is lose the great people once they actually achieve their goals of getting in the Army, Navy, or AGI. You know, Mark Zamp, he's back to the bearer of coffee. Cracking coming your way. Straight at you. I've got a bit of energy because I had 2 coffees this morning in between taking the hound for a walk.
Yeah. Well, because I think it's important to talk about the whole of life, because just even when you are a soldier, you still have a whole life. You're still a whole person. You still need to fill your time with hobbies and healthy habits and things like that. So it's like you must balance life and work no matter what your profession is.
Look, you do need to, and I can tell you now that Kaz would have been a man of money and merchandise had I, thought the way I do now. Imagine if when you got in the Army, MSC, picture this. Imagine, and this is not financial advice, or you could call it if you want. Parents are allowed to give financial advice, you know. But if you saved up and you put into something like an ASX 200 in the stock market, you know, if you put in there, because it gives around 9 to 12% interest annually, if you were to put every little bit of bush pay in there, money that you're not going to miss, and you put that in there, and every now and then you put some in there each fortnight, put 10% of that, imagine what you'd have after just 4 years. The money that you wouldn't have missed because you've been outfield, you've been on courses, etc. Allowances. You know, I got out with next to nothing, you know, and I regret that.
You're not alone.
So we've got Mr. Zamp here, we've got Alt Central here. Have a great 2022.
It's got to run.
the assassin's number. Ed, he's not actually going to run, but
No.
I'd pay him to run. We've got the Guardian 27. Welcome to the Great Unwashed. He's been here before. Not too cow. He's enlisted.
Yeah.
Guys and gals, if you don't know what's going on, that's members. You know, if you see down there, they become a member, they enlist, okay, in the chat, and then they get the rank beside their name. You know, it makes them feel like a bit of a community because we're a herd animal. Yes, it does. One of the things we're able to do here as well is your subjects. Now we can look up your subjects using the display capture, so to speak, and we can look up things for you, and we can do it live and research what you really want to think and talk about. Bam.
Yeah.
Okay.
You should say hello to your sister, though.
Is she here?
Yeah.
How is my illegitimate sister going? I want to buy her a mobile phone just to curse her life.
No, don't feel. Being an army brat was enough, she said.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah, we grew up with no aircon and smoking teachers. You know, I still remember getting hit by Mr. McKenny. We've got the lurker here, Carl P. We've got the stick man.
Yeah, Stephen Webb's here. Joshua Fawns is here. Zachy P. John Zachnich from WA is here. JP's here. Hi, JP.
JP, the sniper.
Ledbetter? I don't know how you say it.
I can't see properly because my eyes, honestly.
Getting bad.
Bitcoin is tasty. The crypto, holy shit, it's been kicked in the nuts in the last few days, I tell you.
Has it? Daniel Benjamin is here and he said, love the stream as always. Completed my defence and psychological assessment. Going for my medical next week. Thanks for all the good videos.
Hey, it's all good, mate. And make sure you go back and look at the assessment session videos again when in doubt. U-session, assessment session, and PFA. Every now and then go back and look at those because it is evergreen. You need to know about it. You need to understand, especially if you're a white male joining the military now, that you are not quota covered. You know, the military is dropping its standards. It has completely dropped its standards on Navy and Air Force to the worst I've ever seen. Right, but now it's also politically incorrect. And now there's even new dispensations thrown out there for the ladies where they've made not only extra differences to the fitness, but also to the grooming standards to allow them to come and still maintain their individuality and sexuality. But men, nothing for you.
I'm outraged because, like, men don't have individuality, you know, and what does a soldier need individuality for, in their work? Nothing.
Yep.
Nothing. I think it is time that we actually abolish any sex-specific training, clothing, or grooming standards. I'm done with it.
Well, what they're scared of is they're going to get in a position now that what they've done is they're not representing when you come to the military exactly what it is, and that is getting dirty, getting bloody, the hardship, the mateship, the victory, okay, that happens when people bond together over arduous conditions for prolonged periods of time and then come out and high-five each other and have a mateship that wouldn't have been a friendship in the civilian world. So what's happening now is they need to gloss it up, but what happens is that is now lied, that is fake news, that is, okay, the Clinton National Network. And from there, people tend to stay in for 4 years. Then you create a circle of the people that you lose that you can't get back. You need to perpetuate this lie or start actually giving benefits to people to lure them in, understanding they're still going to get out after the minimum amount of time because the glossy catalogue, you lied from the start.
It's a lie. That's what I was going to say. The key word is a lie. Good night, Mr. P. Enjoy your apple crumble.
Good night, Mr. P.
Yeah.
See you, buddy.
And I think it's mighty nefarious to be having to trick people into doing a job.
Yeah.
You know, it says to me that they don't want to do that job.
Yep.
There's a good reason they don't want to. Maybe they know they can't meet the standard that would be required physically to do it. No fault of their own except biology.
Yeah, and that's it. You know, and my recommendation for any ladies, MSC, you know, any ladies that are going to look, you know, we just had Michelle Cobra. She's got in now, Western Australia girl, got married just before she left. She successfully made it in. Her partner is now in Kapuka. Fantastic, go for her. and she got in on the mail standard to make sure that no one ever questioned her authenticity of getting into the ADF, the Australian Army, the best small army in the world, unless we degrade the caliber of the person, because it is the most important thing that we have for human resources over equipment. Tanks will change, weapons will change, but is the longevity of a human that stays in the uniform for longer that finally becomes part of the conversation, brings common sense capability out, that forges the spear, the sword of the future. If the wisdom leaves because it's been lied to, then you will actually stunt an organisation, and those that stay will be there for the wrong reason. Then the politics comes in, the fermentation, and then you go through the same problems as the SES and all that sort of stuff, where people will base you on how long you've been there rather than how good you actually are.
Yep. It's
bad. Yeah. What is this is what I live for, hearing Kaz words run through my brain. Joshy Fawns.
You need a hobby, Joshua Fawns.
Do I get the free rent?
Exactly.
For those that don't understand what's happening at the moment, we're getting it's the 10th of January, which means that's the 1 week cronk shell, that's beaconing to let people know it is 1 week before you're going to be starting your mandatory lessons that'll be happening in your either gaining location unit, as either a promoted member where people are now calling you sergeant or sir, where they weren't last year. So it's a massive year. It means the machine has to start back up again, the generators. It means people are going to come back not ready to start the new year. Occupational health and safety, fitness, BMI, let the fat cord go. I've got no sympathy for fatties, because if you're fat, okay, now everyone else has got to carry your shit, or maybe you can't even go outfield at all, and that's what you're getting paid to do. So halfway through holidays, you've got to give less pizza to yourself on the sacrificial plate, which is known as your tongue, and start thinking, I'm going to get back to work soon, because mandatory training is things like suicide awareness. It is about fraud. It is about equity and diversity. It is about heat. Okay, it is about fitness, meaning you've actually got to do a basic fitness assessment. That's not a PFA. That's a basic fitness assessment. And if you fail that, you can go straight onto an administrational warning after you have 1 month, okay, to get yourself up to the standard, despite the fact that really you shouldn't be allowed to go outfield. If you've proven now, I cannot pass a minimum standard for fitness for the military, it would be a degradation of duty for the military to allow you to go into adverse conditions for prolonged periods of time, whether it be hot or whether it be cold, when you've already shown that you're physically not up to the standard.
Exactly, they have a duty of care and they have to meet it, and that's why I think with these double standards, they're failing to meet their duty of care.
Yep. Mick Dundee.
Can I get to the chat for a second?
Certainly can.
Kyle Hucker has 10 weeks to go before Kapuka, and he's going in as a recovery mechanic.
That's what my dad did in Vietnam. Good on you, legend.
It's a good job, isn't it?
It's a fantastic job there. It's less soldier and less, what would you call it? Their job never finishes. Yep. When they're overseas, they're often in dangerous areas, because when a vehicle breaks down, a recovery team need to be there with a skeleton amount of security to get that vehicle going while the rest of the vehicles push on for mission. Yep. So quite often in Vietnam, my dad found himself in a position where they'd be helping a vehicle that was with a catastrophic mechanical failure, and the infantry and the armoured vehicles would be pushed on from there doing their job. Hey, Mr. Peppers.
Yeah, Mr. Peppers.
Thank you very much, sir. Hey.
Nice to see you here.
He's always here.
Here's another lady of sense, Courtney Higgins.
Nice name too.
With us females following male standards, it's silly to have two standards. It is silly, and it's not just silly, it's actually outrageous. And why aren't women offended by that? By them saying, oh, you're just a little lady, here, let me help you. If you can do it, go do it. If you can't, just do what you can.
And Courtney, you're exactly right, because what it does, it opens up scrutiny of service. And as soon as that happens, then that lessens the service in a woman's own mind, a female soldier. You know, when they get a service medal for half the time that men have done, for half the standards that men have to achieve. You know, and for a woman that turns up ready to go, good to go, that does the hard yards, gets the calluses, you know, they must be thinking, how do I show you, other than on a BFA, that I'm not one of those girls?
Exactly. Just like, yeah, exactly. It's not right for other women. It's not fair. And I mean, you've got to remember, it's hardly even the women who are taking advantage of these fault, because they're being lied to.
Yeah.
If they come to a channel like here where they're hearing the truth, you know, they're just going to fall for the glossy catalogue.
Don't fall for the catalogue. Don't. Because those that do will be very quickly, you know, disenfranchised. Good question here from, is that Diver, Steve? Steve Diver?
Steve, can you voluntarily increase your superannuation contributions now? Back in the day, I was told to go away.
I think you can't, Steve. I know that I upped mine to 10% earlier on in my career, but that'd be a question they can ask, and if they can, they can. But what I do recommend is you don't need to spend all your money on the piss like I used to, 4 days a week, you know, while using your PT sessions to rinse it back out of your soul.
Yeah. And you're exactly right, Zane. Zane has said it's incredibly sexist to make women do less. It is. Exactly. Sets them up to feel like less is acceptable from them. Exactly. It's feeding a victim narrative that they should actually be offended by.
Well, it's very tough for the commander when he starts to plan a mission. Okay, am I travelling at the speed of men, or do I have a female here that now I've got to cater for that?
Yeah, and it is not hating on females. We are biologically different.
I hope so.
Why should I feel bad about that? I'm just built as a woman. I was a natural born woman. I'm smaller. I don't have the same bone density. There's a lot of things that I can hardly even open jars sometimes.
Yeah. Look, with a week to go, this is a time of trepidation. This is when people start to think, am I going to stay in? Am I going to get out? What is the pressure to do? But then as soon as you see your buddies, you've got a cup of coffee, it kicks all off again, and you go, this is the best job in the world. You know, it is fantastic. For those that are just starting at Kapuka, for those that are just starting at recruiting, for those that are just starting at the School of Infantry, now the training schools, you know, you really need to go in there and be a father to people, but or a mother, but also do it when the timing is right. Don't guard someone's feelings. Let them suffer a bit before you step in, and do it in an intimate way where you don't embarrass people.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and give it as a little bit of tough love, and then later on just a little slap on the back to let them know you're human.
Yeah, exactly. Matt Ledbetter said female soldiers will know more than any other soldier, you know. And yeah, they do. And I think we need to stop making it out that female soldiers who are in other, they're not in infantry, they're not less than.
So what I'd like you to do is I'm going to
role in this war machine
recite
that is the ADF.
part of the oath, and I'll get you to repeat after me. There's only one
It's
part
ridiculous.
that I'll ask
It
you
actually
to
makes me a little bit upset.
say stay your name.
Ozanan said, hey Kaz, I got sick recently and had to
So,
take some
hold
time
the left
to rest.
hand,
Better now, so
raise
get
your
back
right
to
hand,
training. I've noticed
and
that now
repeat
I'm
after
getting
me.
more back pain doing push-ups.
I state your name.
That means you've got to do some, instead of doing push-ups now, mate, switch that to planking. You know, planking, what that'll work is your transverse abdominal muscle. It's a sheath down the and behind your 8-pack, 10-pack, 4-minute abs. Who's heard of them? And what that'll do is any work that you do on your abdominal will take the pressure off the small of your back, and then it will allow you to get a more holistic strengthening there. And I recommend, whenever possible, at the end of each PT session for people to do prone hold, because what that'll do is it'll set them up for a longer career and the less chance of back injury. And I'd say this is a great way to start the day for anyone that's doing things like scaffolding or working with bricks or working with any sort of manual labour. Yep.
Maybe anyone like
Yep. And women are great at it.
Yeah, anyone. I'm
ask that you don't repeat.
quiet, but I always
So state your name.
just
It's the microphone just doesn't pick up the phone properly. I don't know what it is.
okay.
Raise your right hand
There's a question here that I don't quite
and
understand.
repeat after me.
Brody Poole.
I state your name.
I, Joshua Torres,
Swear that I will well and truly serve
swear that I will well and truly serve
Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth
Commanding officer.
Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
I don't know what a CO is, mate. Look, 18 is an okay age. I recommend these days between 19 and 23 is a good time to join. You know, you've got to remember the people that have the hardest time at the military are normally the people go in. It's not necessarily because of their age, because they don't understand they're either still a girl, still a boy, you know, by age are an adult, okay, but by psyche are still fairly adolescent and weak in the head. Emotionally, people can make really big decisions at Kapuka where they get out, you know, and then feel too pressured within their mind to change their mind once they've actually made it, what do you call it, known that they don't want to be here anymore, and then they can regret it, and they regret it for the rest of their life. I don't know anyone that quit at Kapuka and then was happy with that decision later. They normally, once they had a pie, a sausage roll, a cup of coffee, he went, ah, shit, I did want to do that, but the pressure had got to a position I couldn't let it out.
Raise your right hand
Yeah, the background's too loud.
and repeat after me.
Okay, I love you too, Lisa, my sister.
No, Kylie, one.
She ain't heavy,
Swear that
she's
I will
my
well
sister.
and truly serve
Swear that I will well and truly serve
Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II,
Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
her heirs and successors according to law,
Her heirs and successors according to law.
as a member of the Australian Army,
As a member of the Australian Army.
for the period of my initial engagement.
Is that it? Is that better?
And so tell us if that's better, guys.
Or say the New Zealand accent if it's bitter.
Yeah, Joshua, I'm not sure what you mean by that. You might need to qualify that statement. He said female soldiers are better than the male soldiers.
That's fake news.
Okay.
That is fake news, sorry mate.
That is very much fake news because you should treat them all equally and they should want to be treated equally, no special treatment.
Yeah. That's all right.
It's an organisation. It's much more than just a job.
And you know what? I don't go, when I'm in the military, I don't go in there thinking I'm better than that person. What I do, and the reason why I say to people when it comes to shooting or whether it be fitness, etc., the reason why I say to be as fit as you can, to listen and be the best shot you can be, to finish everything that you start, is because that is the only physical, tangible way that people actually know that you're the real deal, because they actually see you finish everything you start, you know, or you beat them in the fitness activities. I would ask every single officer, male or female, what do you beat your entire platoon at? Is it planking? Is it swimming? Is it running? Is it shooting? You know, what is it you can beat them at? Because if there is nothing you can beat them at, then by geez, you better have some good leadership. But I can't see where it's present if you can't beat them at anything.
Yeah, exactly. Here's Phoenix Knight with a green cow.
Oops.
And he says, hey, mate, I rejoined the Bat Phone via Patreon through my renamed old account. Does the Army have a minimum time for recovery after a hand fracture? Ouch.
Look, what we have is geez, I'm not used to doing all of that. Oops, there's more than one cat. Okay, so basically what happens is you will go on a restriction from a hand fracture, but if they find out that you punch something, you'll get charged. You'll actually get like a military charge for that, potentially for not now being able to go outfield, for not being able to do your job because of an alcohol-related incident, if that was the case. If it was something that happened in a field setting, then you might be okay, mate. But when you're in the military, you will have restrictions for the length of time that you actually have an injury, and it might be a short-term chit or restriction, okay, or it could be a restriction that is permanent, and that can actually determine the longevity of your entire career. You know, so anything that's alcohol related, just remember, you know, it will go down really badly because you just became one less person in your organisation because of something that could have been judgment called, Could have been done differently. Wait a second. We've got Jackson Middleton.
And
Welcome to the Bear of Coffee. I love coffee, and he's a sergeant already. He knows he'd love coffee too.
yeah,
Not too
except
cow.
Ruthie is here.
Sorry?
Hey, Ruthie. Yeah, haven't seen Ruthie.
Hey,
before.
Ruth, how you going, mate?
Yeah, and Mick Dundee is there too. Sorry, I forgot to say hello to him before.
And the Glazier's here too.
Fugly. It's
Fugly
nice.
is here.
Yeah. Look at Logan R there with the yellow cow and a big yippee.
Yeah, what's the go with that Popeye looking mofo?
Like a sailor.
He's sending a signal. Is that because I look like Ellen DeGeneres again?
She wishes she looks like you.
Thank you for the yellow cow, sir. Thank you very much.
Kura number 1 is here.
Who? Quran?
Kura number 1. Yep. And Nads L has asked, are there female special forces?
No. Or there is, but they're not actually qualified beret members. They call them black hats. They're support members. Yep.
Yeah. And that's something to be just as proud of as anyone else's service.
Dan.
Dan. Hi, Dan.
He says, good evening. Thank you very much, mate. He's been the member and the bearer of coffee for 6 months now. Thank you very much. Promoted. Well done, sir. That's what we love to see. Come here, buddy. We've got someone here for you, guys.
Aww.
Come here, Greek hero. Say good day to Rob Kent if he's still out there. He's just staying with Dad at the moment for a few days while little one's out of town. Guys and gals, I tell you, these guys are the best therapists you could ever have.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, he is a big boy. Sleeps with Dad, eats Dad's jocks that I leave around. He's got a unicorn that he takes into a shady places and goes Discovery Channel every night on. Don't you, buddy? He'd have a cigarette after it if he could. Can we get some thumbs up there for Achilles? If not, Ellen DeGeneres. What are you doing? Show me you like to stand.
He's so beautiful. Aww.
Don't breathe in my face. Your breath's worse than mine. Okay, my little hero. See you, buddy. Dad will give you some attention soon, okay? Oh, kiss. Thank you, mate. Thank you. Guys and gals, I hope you love dogs. I do. When we're overseas, we like to sort of shadow adopt any of the pet dogs that become the mongrels around the camp.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if you're in the Arabia area, they get shot.
Well, that's just risk management.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to get something that you can't get rid of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Robbie Kent. Look, absolutely agree, Kaz. Best therapy. There you go.
Yeah, I love my Patchy.
And they taste like chicken too.
Stop it. Adam Ski has asked, what would be the best diet be for new recruits at Kuka?
Look, the thing is, you've got to understand something. You'll never have a diet again in the military. There is nothing that you can eat down there. You're not allowed to take supplements. They have to know everything that you're doing. They have to know any medical you've got there. You will eat food because it is fuel. You won't eat it for taste. You will stuff it in. You'll be given a very short period of time to do it. Make sure at the front of the line, you will put that food into your face and then you'll be gone and you'll still be hungry until the next meal. That's just one of the facts.
Little Anthony from Vietnam thought Achilles was great.
Little Anthony loves Achilles. Good on you, mate. That's beautiful.
We're talking about dogs now. Okay, Ball has a question. Do you still have to go in quarantine before you start training when you get there?
Look, I'm a big believer that military shouldn't be doing any quarantining. We should be completely ignoring, what it is. We don't really want to get into the subject because there's too many lunatics, with it. But I don't believe there should be any quarantine. I don't believe that there should be masks, none of that stuff. Because I'll tell you something. When we're in the military, even if we're in a landmined field, if we get shot at, we have to pretend there's no landmines and stamp our way out, get out in a hurry. So we look at what the priority is, and the priority is getting people into boots, into uniforms, through training, back the other end, and being ready to represent this country domestically or abroad. You know, I really feel for the soldiers that are wearing the uniforms, that have even been tasked to assist in the relief, to assist the police force with it, because these are people that came to work one day and then got told, "Hey, you've got a job on." Yeah, okay, what is it? You're just to walk with these guys. Yeah, no dramas. They didn't ask for a job. They're not carrying a weapon. They're not hurting anyone. They're not tackling people. They're not holding anyone down. They're not giving any inoculations. You know, it's a weird. Australia is absolutely in love with the army turning up for every single thing for free to help them with cyclones, with flooding, with fires, with everything. But then the second they're helping this, they're turned into pariahs. If my son or daughter was out there, I'd go, just don't get political with it. Say good day to everyone. You know, ask them, you ever thought about joining the military? Yeah. Yeah. Have a conversation, win a heart over, and let people know that the military, the Australian military, is compassion. Okay, you're a good person. Okay, and you're there to protect.
Yeah. Hey, Ball is Life is going to Cooper in April.
What day in April, mate? Anzac Day is my birthday.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. It's very exciting. I get very excited when people are off on their adventures.
Well, this is why we like to ask people what is happening for you in 2022. Because in 2022, is it going to be love? Is it going to be employment? Is it going to be adventure? Okay, is it going to be a bit of all three? Or what? Hey,
Look at what Ruthie just did.
look out. Someone's just hit that time of the month.
Hey, Ruthie, with some good advice. Remember, kids, don't spend all your money on payday. Love you, Kaz. Both of your commitment is amazing to see, and I have found it infinitely helpful. What kind of character traits have you seen be detrimental, and what can leadership do to support, limit its effects on teams? That's a good question.
It is an excellent question. And I'd just like to start by saying, for starters, Ruthie, not to cow, my hand is getting sore. You never need to go that high, my friend. You really don't.
Yeah, that
you know.
is truly a lot. How many views is that?
Well, that's $1 is 1,000. So that's 100,000 views that you're representing there through AdSense, unless it was a financial channel, which is, $16 per 1,000. In case you didn't know that. If anyone wants to have another video on starting a YouTube channel, let us know, and I can have a chat with you through that, and so can Lauren. But that's more. Clearly, we've said something there that struck a bit of common sense, and that with Ruthie. And mate, what you're saying there, we're a team. I find in-depth helpful character traits. Have you seen be detrimental? Can you see detrimental in leadership to support? Well, what I believe is the officers should stay the hell out of the affairs of soldiers. Because you do not want to get into a personal relationship, friendship with a soldier, because you're normally the same age or even sometimes younger. So what I would say to them is, one, always speak to the platoon sergeant, or a platoon sergeant, or even a CSM, which is the Crown. Okay, the reason why you do that is because you want a second opinion. You want a war game without also giving away secrets about an individual. And then you want to organise a sit-down communication with them, and potentially even a record of conversation. Otherwise, you're going to know who's close to that person, and then you can get someone to say that person might need someone to have a talk with them. Do you know how to organise a personal talk with that person? And then from there, you have the power as a commander to say to someone, leave your phone on, especially if they're a family man or woman, and say, just go home. Go home today, but leave your phone on so I know where you are. Tomorrow, turn up, we'll have the same conversation. And what can I do to help you? I'm not trying to butt in. Can we have a communication and sort this out together?
And I imagine the full range of personality traits that you get in the civilian world. It's some people who are addicted to drama.
Yeah.
Some people who make a big mess. There's some people who just can't take care of their business. There's some people who are just dislikable.
That's right.
That you get narcissists, you get all kinds of people. So I imagine just for an officer to improve their people management skills is probably really important.
Yep, don't go out and hit the piss with the boys ever. Because what it can become is a competition, and you might overstep the line, and quite often
Yeah.
there's other soldiers with more leadership than yourself. Never yell at the soldiers. If there's a problem, you hand it over to Vanilla Ice, and he'll solve it, and that's the platoon sergeant.
Yeah, stay in your lane.
And you can simply say, platoon sergeant, sort this out, and walk off.
Yep, stay in your lane. Phoenix Knight is there with a green camel, and he, with his broken hand, meant like prior to joining.
Okay.
Broke his hand after New Year's, and he's not sure how long DFR will require him to wait until he recovers in order to join.
Well, I'd also be asking yourself, what can you do? Because, the last thing you want to do is fake it, that it's not injured, and then get to Kapuka and get told to pick up these weights or get on this chin-up bar or fire this machine gun, and all of a sudden your hand is going, chakunk, chakunk, chakunk.
Yeah. What
What have I done? Now I've got a lifelong injury because I tried to hide it. It's not the time I'd say to tell the truth. If someone says, what did you do? Go, I punched a wall and there was a batten behind it.
Yeah.
You know.
It's best to get it to heal before you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Joshua Fawns actually has a date or not. He's written a date in there. I don't know. Does he have an enlistment date?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Tell us, is that your enlistment date, Joshua? T Cash needs a Kraken.
Guess what? Neville Bartos would say, T Cash, there's no cash here. No cash. T Cash, g'day, mate. Welcome to the chat. Good to have you here. I hope everyone that's watching now, that's lurking back there, subscribing, understands military is part of the subject here, but it can be any subject you want.
We like talking to you guys.
Can we get some thumbs up for T Cash? And T Cash, thank you very much for the coffee, says Achilles there. And mate, what do you want, buddy?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, mate?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Riz is leaving on the 7th of March.
That's a long time away, but it's too close to be able to properly relax.
Exactly. Courtney Higgins leaves for Kapuka June the 27th. Good work.
Okay.
Girl.
Yep. That's a great time to be able to look at what you're doing for a job at the moment and say, I want to do something that I'm going to have some life balance, some fun, because this could be another 40 years that you're in the military for. So make sure that you spend that time with friends, with family, because it might be a long time before you see them again.
Yep, indeed. And SP is here, saying hello. Hello, SP.
Hey, SP, how you going?
Yeah, Logan R appears to be leaving on the 24th of January.
That's 2 days before Australia Day.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish I could go back again. I'm actually making a conversation soon, let's just say, with someone in particular at the School of Infantry to ask if I can go up there monthly once I get my van and come and do mentor periods up at the School of Infantry.
That'd be great.
It would be great because, I want to tell you a little bit of a truth here. Singleton can be a very, very lonely place for soldiers that are there. In everything, there is a pecking order. And if you put a thumbs up if you've been infantry before, in a football team, there's a pecking order. Bricky labourers, scaffolding teams, there's bricky labour. There's the network. When people hit failures or injuries, and then they have to step back from a platoon, etc., sometimes they don't know where to turn. And when you go to the rehabilitation wing for female and male soldiers that also realise that they don't have the batteries to do this job, and they've fallen short, and now they understand it psychologically, it can be a really difficult thing. And they're the people that I spent the last of my army career standing around saying, yep, let's take it easy, let's talk about shit, teach them about whether it be financial things, job employments other than military, as well as history on Rome and stuff like that. So, Tom of the Jungle.
Tom of the Jungle. That's so nice to see you.
Tom was one of the first people that was coming to our free PT sessions. Fantastic guy. Undefeated fighting on the street outside the Penrith Leagues Club. Hey, Kaz and team, hope your holidays were great. Thinking of you all and all the best. Great to see you there, Tom of the Jungle. I hope your career is doing well. He works with petroleum, which means that as a fuel guy with POL, petrol, oils and lubricants, etc., that means that he is going to set himself up with qualifications when he gets out of military to be able to work with aviation businesses, etc., because you'll be around Avo fuel as well as diesels, as well as petrols, etc. So he's really given himself a great job.
Yeah, it's terrific, and it's always nice when he pops in.
Yeah.
SP has an interesting question. Is there some sort of weightlifting requirement? I can really only find run times and body weight stuff, but I'm a bit concerned about the pack carrying and that.
The least your pack is ever going to weigh is going to be 20 kilos. You know, your combat ensemble, which is going to be your webbing, your rifle, your helmet, your body armor. Okay, Tom, what is yours weigh at the moment? It can alter depending on what your position is, but that can be over 14 kilos. That's a lot. Plus the 20, so you're looking at 34 kilos. Ladies, beware. If you decide to think that maybe I want to go for a combat corps, you're pushing at least 34 kilos, and that's without the minimi, 7.1 kilos, 7.49 kilos with 30 rounds on the plate, 10.15 kilos with 200 rounds on the gun, minimi, the smallest gun, and that's even before you go up to the Mag 58, the medium machine gun, etc. Shit gets heavy and you've got to be able to carry it all. So be careful what you ask for when you go for a combat corps, because the expectation is every single person can carry every single weapon and fight with it and crawl with it. You know, it's...
There we go. Getting a few thumbs up from people who have been in the 343.
There you go. And I don't know, I've never met someone who regretted joining the 343.
Nor have I, no matter what costs they've paid.
It'll give you warts, sometimes literally.
Yeah, exactly.
Tweaky fish.
Huh?
Tweaky fish.
Okay. We're a bit behind in the comments.
Okay.
Steve said, what roles did you have in the army, Kaz?
What roles did I have? My first role was basically a scout. When we used to have a 9-man section, you know, I was normally the number 2 scout because of seniority, and the guy that was in front of me, I will drop names when it's for compliments, was Possum Bradshaw, was the number 1, and then I was the number 2 behind him. There was times I was in the rifle group, there was times I was in the gun group, but more often than not, while I was a private soldier, I was always a scout because of my ADD, or potentially because when I was overseas, I'd hope and I'd get shot. I was the number 1 scout in Rwanda. I had to earn that over the current serving 01 of colour, Andy Munn, by beating him in a 5-kilometre race. And that came down to whoever wins is going to be my number 1 scout. And I beat him. You know, and that's the hardest I've ever run, and I projectile vomited when it was done, but it's done. And Andy, if you're out there, congratulations on your promotion, and he's the champion shot of the army. But, you know, the white man could run.
That's great. Fugly has a conundrum.
Yes.
Okay. He went to the Sub Memorial in Rocco. I imagine he means Rockingham. And
Okay.
he said someone smashed off the acknowledgement plate off the side and kicked the roots around. So I cleaned it up, and I've got the plate, but not sure what to do with it. I would probably contact the RSLWA,
Yeah.
give it to them, and let them put it back, or
Yeah, just return it.
you don't want to get in trouble for having it in your house.
Yeah. It's, look,
No, it up.
at the end of the day, you know, you've done the right thing. And people acknowledge when people have done the right thing.
Yeah,
They do.
Sure.
Is there anything anyone needs looked up? You know?
I don't know. Hang on, we've got, there are some questions, if you'd like them.
Yeah.
SB has added, my family heard about the gap year program, and they're pushing me towards it as a low commitment option in case they regret my joining. He said, I tried asking DFR, but all they told me was that I can leave after a year. Applications open in March, and I can't join as infantry, just as general combat role. What's the difference? I really
Well-
want infantry. I'm confused now.
Well, if you go into general enlistment, then that means what they're going to do is you're going in without a corps, and then they'll send you to whatever corps they want to send you to. Now, this is what I'd say to you. It's time for your parents to let you be an adult. You know, you're going to be outside the nest. When you go to be gap year, what occurs is that is the same as national service. You're going in for 1 year, getting qualified, giving the country everything that it would like to have from a citizen. But what you're getting back is not a fair trade. You're giving them a year of hard training at Kapuka, at School of Infantry, or Engineer Steel Barracks, you know, or down at bloody Watsonia with signals, whatever it's going to be. And just as you're starting to get all the achievements, then it's over and you're out of the military, and then you've got to go and do a civilian job while you're part of the Army Reserve. I'd say go in for 4 years, the same way you'd commit to a university degree, the same way you'd commit to a trade, and at the end of that 4 years, then you say to your parents, this is what I'm going to do now. Thank you for the advice, but I don't want to look after the farm. You have to stand on your own 2 feet, because this could be a 40-year career for you, and you could be exactly what the Army needs. You know, you can't just do what your parents want. That they love you, they want you to succeed, clearly, but you're going to get some skill sets there that are going to make you highly employable in different areas if HR doesn't get in a position where you don't get to speak to the actual business you're going to go to. If you're good with your money, then you can start to decide what you want to do for an employment, because remember, we earn our money, we don't save our riches. You earn your riches. Yep.
Exactly. Okay, there's a bit going on in the chat. Phoenix Knight asked, is the chat strictly military tonight?
No,
it's not.
absolutely not. Let's change it. Let's change the subject if you want.
Yeah, sure. Give us a different subject. Brady's got some good advice. He said you always start at the bottom, are thrown in the deep end, but it doesn't take long to find your feet and work your way up.
You're in a herd of cattle when you get in there. I started to make a video today, and I yelled at Achilles just to show you that it ain't personal. When I use my voice and I yell at you directly, and someone goes, but it's your tone, you go, the whole point was that goddamn tone. My tone tells you how fast I want you to respond to what I'm saying right now. You know, it's not something personal. It's letting you know how much time you've got to get something done.
Yeah, good question, Phoenix. Here's what they want to know. You ready, Kaz?
I'm ready. Listo.
It's something we've talked about before. What are your thoughts on real estate in the metaverse?
Oh, this is what I think. For people to go into that realm, what they need to understand is that the computer game world is twice as big as music and Hollywood. I don't think there's any errors. It's just which one. Are you talking about Decentraland? Are you talking about Sandbox? Lauren's probably thinking, what the hell are they talking about here? Or are you talking about a smaller group? Are you talking about Axis Infinity? I don't know. I would say buyer beware getting in early. You know, the people that got into a lot of cryptos early, okay, as they say, got arrows in their back.
Yeah.
You know, the people that are getting in now are wondering, how long can I hang on for? Should I hang on for? How far can this go down? You know?
Yeah. Nate wants to know if he can use your face as an NFT.
Yes.
Only if you give him a share.
Look, I've just started something for my daughter, and I'd recommend this to almost anyone. Recommend it, and that is the S&P 200. Sorry, the ASX 200. Basically gives around 10% interest. Okay, so what I'm doing is basically for the rest of my life, every single pay, a couple of $100 at least will go into that. So cumulative building of that, not looking at the share price, not caring, just dollar averaging in somewhere over the next 20 or 30 years. That is going to be not just a fun number to watch go up as I put some lump sum cash installments into it, but watching it grow, knowing every bit of that becomes a legacy that is not to spoil my daughter, but to give her choices when she's older, give her options. And that's all we can do, because we know that there is a 3-generation turnaround when normally the person that earns the money, the second generation squanders the money, and the third person questions why was there no money if our relatives were rich 2 generations ago. Not everyone's going to have your hype for it. So if you can educate someone financially and don't make the mistakes Kaz does, I'm living my second life now and wish I'd done things differently, but I had to be on rock bottom to understand it. And it's absolutely fascinating when you know that every step you make, especially for someone else, is for the right reasons.
Yep. ECAP is just how do you get a hold of that phone? I'll put the link in the chat to the Patreon.
And for those that don't know what it is, this is the actual bat phone. This is the bat phone here. And what it is when you go to Patreon, you're able to then have an open dialogue conversation with me one-on-one, so that you can ask the questions, have the intimacy to be able to speak to me on something you might not want to say in comments, something that I can't answer, on the record like this. And I can absolutely let you know the downs and the dirties and tailor everything we say for advice based on just your situation. And that extends to you for the entire time that you're also in the military. You can ring up and say, I'm on a course. Let me know. What do you recommend? Tom of the Jungle at any stage could say, how do I do this? How should I deal with that? Have you heard of this guy or gal? What's your advice, Kaz? And I'll give it.
Okay, Toxic T-Bone has
Oh,
asked.
that's a good name. That's the best name I've heard tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to Kapuka in 6 days, and this is a common question that gets asked, okay? Is there anything I could pack that isn't listed on the packing list?
That's not on the list. I would say put a couple of bags of lollies, okay, in your echelon bag, in your civilian bag. So when they say you can go to your bag, you actually know that there's some treats waiting for you, because you're not going to get to go to a shop. You're not going to get to go and have a can of Coke. You're not going to get to go and have a cup of coffee in the first 3 or 4 weeks. So give yourself a something in there that you really look forward to. The other thing that you should take with you that's not on the list is take photos of a beautiful woman, a real one, that you can stick up on your notice board. A picture of a dog, a picture of a car or a bike, something you like, a picture of your parents. Because what happens then is people will see the human side of you when it's on the board, when you're out of the room, and there's more chance that they're going to come back and speak to you like a human instead of, someone that is just another number to yell at. Have we frozen up?
Only for a second, you believe.
Okay.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
What have we got? Levi McCormick has said, I want to operate vehicles for a living, basically truckie. Do you reckon it's a future career?
It is probably one of the best roles that you could go to, where not only does it have survivability and sustainability in an industry which is starting to get overtaken by technology, but it's going to give you all of the tickets in the emerging technology. I think you're the smartest man in chat.
Yes.
You're not going to pay for anything. You're in the uniform. You're up high. The training gets done. It's top of the line training. It's accredited. I think you're a smart man.
Yeah, indeed. Hi, Rob Wool.
Robbie Wool, great conversation we had on the bat phone today. And Rob, honestly, mate, I was in a really good mood after speaking to you. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, it's nice. It's always nice to see Rob Wool here.
Yeah. Also, Levi's in the army.
Yeah.
It's a cool name, Levi.
Yeah, Levi's a terrific name. It's not as good as Toxic T-Bone.
Yeah. Honestly, that's sort of starting to bug me a little bit, because T-bone is the only cut of steak I'll never get, because I feel like you're ripping me off when I buy it, and knowing that half of the weight is the actual bone itself.
Stephen Webb has a question for you. It's a bit cheeky.
Yeah.
Is it Kaz, do you have an Ellen haircut?
She is the beacon You know, once she got kicked off TV, I said, I'm gonna rock this the rest of the time. You know,
You're so funny.
this would get me through most leftist protests as long as I said that I was transgender too. I'll tell them I used to be a man. They'd go, oh.
Maybe Ellen has a Kaz haircut. Did you think of that?
Who's older?
Ellen.
There you go. Steak is expensive. I didn't realise until I went to the shop today to buy some Wagyu beef balls for my dog Achilles. There is nothing on the shelves at all. It's like bomb shelter shit. Hey Frosty, how you going, mate? I can't fully remember, but
Because there was. Let me tell you what led up to that comment.
okay.
He was saying, because he asked, does Kaz recommend that you go to infantry or something before you try to be commando or SF? And we told him the usual.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to. You're going to have to anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, he said he'd heard some negative things about infantry and that. And I said, well, just if you let us know what they are, there's plenty of ex-infantry here to dispel any myths, you know, because there is a lot of myths, a lot of Hollywood myths getting around about what the lifestyle is actually
And
like.
the weird thing about commandos is 100% of them come from infantry.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. They are advanced infantry.
And if you're thinking of doing commandos or SF, you're not going to hate infantry if that's what you like. It's
Well,
really.
Do you know what?
Bring.
Do you know what I say when people say they don't like infantry, Lauren?
What did you say?
I always say to them, which ones you don't like? Was it the light horsemen?
Yeah, exactly.
Or was it the guys at Kokoda? Or was it the guys at Tobruk? Was it the ones at Greece? Okay, was it the ones at Darwin? Which ones don't you like? Or was it, you know, it's, yeah. Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. You can't please them all. You could put a puppy video up and you're going to get down thumbs.
Yeah, exactly. And Frosty, I think Stickman's made a fair point saying that you've got to sort out your fears. You do. And you do have a fear if you're worried about what other people are telling you. You're scared of what their opinion is or whether they're telling the truth. It heard that infantry is like a bubble that you can't get out of, but you don't want to get out of it if you want to go to SF. That's still really...
You've got to remember that when you're at the top of the spear point, which is infantry, you don't look back until you want something. Hey, I need some more ammo. Hey, can I get a ride? Hey, can I get a helo?
Exactly.
How we get in there? We don't look back and look at someone with dissent.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
we don't give a shit. We're too busy laughing amongst ourselves. We've got a question from Adam too. Can I explain what the grey man is?
Yeah, there also reaches a point where you need to grow up. And growing up means making your own decisions, even despite other people's opinions, and bearing the consequences for those decisions.
This is the way I look at it, Lauren. If you're fragile the way people look at you and the way people talk about you, what are you going to be like when the bullets fly? When you're near a massacre, when you're near a catastrophic situation, when you're walking all night to be able to get to an angle to do a catastrophic prosecution of targets that don't know you're coming. Do you care about their feelings when you know that you're going to strap the bayonet on, you know, and you're going to take the ground that he's called home for the last 32 years of his life? No?
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah. And look, Brady made a really good point. He said that even doing a trade can be like being stuck in a bubble. He said doing an army trade is a long haul, and above average age grades are required. For them to train you, you need to repay that with a return of service in years. So if you're worried about the commitment, then maybe you're not ready.
And look, you won't know until you try. You know, and when you get in, everyone has trepidation, especially, you know, if you're nervous, it could be because you care so much about succeeding. You know, like I say to people, I was 58 kilos when I joined the army, and my dad said, you're going to get flogged, you know, because of your big bloody mouth, you ADD monkey. You know, and I got in there, and all I did was overcompensate for fitness. You know, and when I wasn't doing that, I'd clean my weapon. When I wasn't cleaning my weapon, I was finishing everything. And when I wasn't doing that, I was volunteering for everything. And before I knew it, I become expendable. They're going, Kaz is a good guy. He's someone that'll come out on the piss. You know, we went out to fight the New Zealanders. I came out for that. You know, I didn't back off. I didn't shy away. You know, I got involved in the politics that happened. I didn't bully anyone. and I just lived the life, and I was accepted, and now I've got brothers that I speak to now, and I still miss this role every single day, and no one can tell me a job that they miss every single day since they've left it that didn't do military, I guess.
Yeah, no, you're right. Rob Wall said he could never see Kaz being a grey man.
The grey man is a guy that stays below the radar. You know, you can either do it deliberately or it's just who you are. It's normally a quieter person, not a high achiever, not a low achiever, someone that's just in the mid-water, you know, doesn't get seen speaking much, just does the job and gets through. I can't do that. I couldn't be the grey man. Even when I'm old, I won't be able to be grey.
Yeah. Look at all that hair.
Got too much.
Yeah. Phoenix Knight said thick skin can be developed. Mindset change and getting out there into as many challenging experiences. Exactly. Yeah. You can develop it. You can, in fact, it's part of growing up, developing a thick skin.
Well, imagine if you worked in the Bering Seas over as the Alaskan crab fishermen.
Yeah.
You know, they'd be more staunch and stoic than what I am.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
And that doesn't mean just be defiant, like being defiant. You know, if someone's giving you good advice, you should actually listen to them. So it's about I suppose, developing your own discernment.
Yeah, and here's one for you, mate, just in case you didn't know. I've sacked a lot of people, okay, for either dangerous practices, okay, during live fire preparations, etc., or whether it be for tactical operation missions that they were unable to do successfully and there was no confidence in their ability to do so. But at the same time, I've gone up to a soldier that I've just told has failed and will be getting back squatted for repetitive infractions on a live fire range, and then gone over and put my arm around them when they're effing crying and said, it's okay, mate. You put me in a position that I had to do it, but there's nothing personal, bro. You're going to have another shot. You just need to be retrained, think about this, get a bit more fitness, and you'll be good, because dexterity leaves, okay, when the shutters come in, tunnel vision, right, and it takes over. Your dexterity goes, concentration goes, you make mistakes. Fitness is the benefit for everything.
Yep. It's good advice.
Yep. Oh, your mates don't ask you to come first, they ask you to be there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you look after yourself, then they don't have to carry you.
Yeah, that's it. AJ Hayes, West Side, not cerebral palsy.
Joe's here. He's been here the whole time. He's just been lurking. And the thing is that it's important to not be a total narcissist and go, I don't need anybody and I don't care about anybody. You do. No one is an island. We rely on communities and the people that we're around. So you must be able to be teachable. You must be able to take good advice.
You've only got to see a horse, you know, that's in a paddock, separated from other horses, or a cow, and it's the same as humans. I'd tell you, if you ever see someone that looks like they're either a little bit down and out, whatever, don't be afraid to go over to them in civilian street and go, you okay, mate? You all right? And if you've got enough just to slip them a cup of coffee because they look like they're having a hard time, just do it. You know, if I ever see someone going through bins collecting cans, etc., I'll always give them a $20 or more, you know, because I'm like, mate, that guy is showing action to get money, you know.
Exactly. And, you know, it's not really a business what they're going to spend it on or anything like that. You know, you should be trying to make Australia and the world a better place, and we do that not by whinging about how bad it is. You do that by actually being the good in the world. Yep.
And just teach them that they're going to be all right. You know, they've probably made decisions in their life that they regret. I get that, you know, but they didn't do it to me.
And you can make a big difference in someone's life just from a small action like what you do
with the Patreon.
Yeah.
The amount of people that we've had cry just because we picked them to be Patreon recipients of photos of their family or paying for their groceries, You know, the only one that really chapped my ass was the guy that we bought all the white goods for, and he didn't even watch the video that we made of the $1,500 that we spent on him so that he wouldn't have to go to laundromats in the Bronx. You know, that didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And then when they're like, oh, but I didn't ask for your help, go, it doesn't matter, mate. Now I can see why you're in the situation you're in. Toxic bastard.
Yeah, some people are. Some people are toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Britney Spears. Toxic. What's another subject we can talk about?
Well, SP's a little bit worried about joining with glasses, but I really don't think that's very much of an issue.
That'll get sorted out when you go to. It's the irony is you can't do most jobs if you're colourblind, but you can join with glasses.
Yeah.
What they might do is see about laser surgery. I don't know what the actual deal is. So, no means no.
Oh, he's so beautiful.
He just put his hands all over me tackle.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what the actual thing is with the glass. I've never really looked up. I'm sure you could look it on DFR or look up just the website. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Disregard if preferred case. Any comment on that Army General announcing a program for?
I didn't hear about an Army General doing it.
I don't know. What is it about?
Children's vaccines.
Yeah.
We're trying not to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because we're all a bit fatigued by the subject, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I am.
And I don't know what it's like for you guys, but up here it's on the TV for 8 hours straight a day by design.
People on the streets are getting really scared and really angry about it. So I think let's just, even for just tonight, let's make this a place where we just forget all about that.
Yeah. Hey, Frosty asked a good question. Hey, Kaz, what do you do these days? Kind of new to the channel, so I'm just curious. For starters, can we get some thumbs up for Frosty?
Yeah.
Great to have you here, the snowman.
Yeah, we've been giving us some really good conversation this evening.
Well, one of the things that you probably don't realise, a lot of people. G'day, Ruthie. How you going? Great talk tonight. Heading off for dinner with the family. Can't wait to listen to the next live. Good night, Lauren. She always goes to you first.
Good night, Ruthie. Thank you so much for that big giant menstrual cow.
And let us know, and I can put it back into your account. It's fine.
In case you accidentally did what Drunk Aussie does and lent on your keyboard.
There you go. Oh, that was a good one, Bretty Carr, the Aussie flag giveaway. You know, I love that one.
Great.
We've got what basically happened there was, g'day Wasp, how you going there, mate? Fat fella. Hey Kaz, do you know of good resources I could scan through to improve my running form and endurance? I'd say go to your local fitness gym where they do running clubs, and you'll do that as a group, and then you can actually use other people to run against. The treadmill, if you're heavy, boxing if you're heavy, etc. Do that and get into circuit training, not necessarily CrossFit. All right. What were we going to say?
Hang on, I'm going to say hello to PK. Hi, PK.
PK.
I hope
Bro-
AK's good.
Yeah, we hope AK's good.
Yeah. You were actually just telling Frosty what you get up to these days.
I am, but we'll quickly talk about the Aussie flag giveaway,
Oh, yeah?
guys and gals. Basically what happened was I was walking around the corner in the industrial area, and there was a bunch of Arabic guys that were putting some units together in Western Sydney. And basically the Australian flag was hanging like an absolute rag. It was torn to pieces. And I thought, there is no way I can abide that. You know, it disgusted me. So what I did, here it is here. So rather than accuse anyone of anything,
Yeah.
of disrespecting the flag, I simply went down to where these bloody 10 guys were.
Yeah.
Wait, I'll just put the phone down for a second, Lauren.
All right.
So basically what happened was, this was the flag. It's absolutely torn to shreds, and it was blowing in the wind, and no one did anything about it. And I thought, not on my watch. So Achilles, it's okay, buddy. So I went and got an Australian flag, right? And then I went over there and I said g'day to them. I said, no disrespect, but we can't have a flag like that. It wouldn't matter if it was Egyptian. It wouldn't matter if it was from Lebanon. Here's a flag. Can you just help me set it up? The whole work crew stopped working. Yeah, mate. Yeah, no worries. No worries. And they came over. They were getting photos with it. They were putting it up. They were thumbs up. They loved it. You know, because guess where the most patriotic people come from? Normally not Western countries.
Yeah, exactly, because they've seen it bad.
Yeah.
They know that we take it for granted. They know things can get bad quickly.
Yeah. I love the flag.
That was a great memory, Brady. I'd actually forgotten about that.
That was a really good one. And I'm glad I had the flag to validate it here. We've got another flag we're going to show you on the next stream. Make sure you're here. Make sure you like right now if you can. What do I do? Well, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Okay, for a lot of people don't realise I'm 50 years old. Hold the bat up, Kaz. Half century means I'm halfway to dead, even if I live my full term. But not many people realise that I'm actually 50. It's because I've got all my hair. You know, I'm not fat. You know, and my energy levels are probably a little bit higher than most, and I'm a little bit childish as well. But basically, since I got out of the military, I did 24 years. When I got out in 2015, so we're looking at 6 years I've been out now nearly. Basically, what happened was I decided my head was not in a good space, and if I didn't create a good way to distract myself, I was going to get caught in a position where I'd spend the rest of my life beside a bar with girls that were sexy decades ago, probably named Flo, you know, and shit like that. So what I did was I got into photography and I done some of my poetry, did my PTSD courses. You know, my family broke down. I gave away drinking unless I'm with my Rwanda buddies, where we do a reunion every year except for the last two for obvious reasons. And then from there, all I do is work on photography and adventures, getting in the water, you know, being the father for my daughter. I moved to Western Sydney. I don't like Western Sydney. I don't like Sydney. You know, I'm a beach guy. But I moved down here to be near my daughter to give her every opportunity of having a father. I put off dating for over 5 years now so that she never thought that her mother did anything wrong. It was so that she realised that the reason why I do what I do is because I was impossible to live with. It wasn't her fault. It was mine. So all I do is try to restart my life, and I recommend that everyone, you don't have to be 50, can be where you are, draw a line, say no more, restart happens tomorrow, and sometimes you've got to cash in some of your old friends and replace them with some new. But being busy, being proud, and doing things to give you a sense of what defines you now. You know, me is being a father and helping others.
You've got to play the hands you've been dealt.
You know, draw four.
Exactly, and sometimes you do have to draw four, and you've just got to keep playing.
I always have a beer on Anzac Day there, Maddie. Yep. PK Kaz, you're only as old as a woman you feel, especially if she asks for it. You know, the danger is being 50 years old. When I had this conversation today with Rob, I said, so when you're a 50-year-old man, you know, you basically have the world as your oyster. Your dating profile, you can be going for 35 all the way up to 50. You can be going from 30 to 50 depending on what you are and what you bring to the table. I wouldn't recommend going much lower because their father's going to look at you and go, mate, do you want to go for a walk and have a talk?
Yeah, and also they might not know what they want at that age, whereas you know exactly what you want.
Yeah. Yeah, dating's got a lot of pitfalls these days.
It sure does. It sure does. Who suggested that you might even be letting us in on your dating adventures? Is that going to happen?
I'll give full transparency to the men I meet.
you might have the wrong app. Are you on Grindr?
No. G'day, Achilles. How you going, buddy? Yeah, I'll let you know. One thing I'm not a fan of doing, which I wouldn't be able to do, is set up a date with 3 girls and go on a date with one knowing that I'm going on a date with 2 other girls. I find that very disrespectful. I couldn't do that.
Like, if I'm well, maybe I'm just too old-fashioned. I don't have much luck with the dating apps and online dating and that, because if I'm talking to one guy, I don't want to talk to the other guys until I have either put him away or, decided. It feels bad. It feels wrong.
And I recommend, if you want a guy to get the hint, if there's any women that watch this stream, and men would respect this, if you are not interested in the guy that you're on the date with, you insist, I am paying for half of this dinner. And you let him know, because I do not want to owe you shit when this is done. I never want to see, we don't need to see each other again. This didn't work out.
Yeah.
A lady should not be accepting dinners from someone she definitely does not want to see again, because that's how someone gets led on, or might be in a position they feel like, okay, well, you should have paid for half of dinner if you didn't like me. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just in chat for a second.
I've never been on there, fat fella. I started to go on there, and I know that it depends on where you are too. There's a massive difference between being on a dating app in Sydney, where there's 3 million people, and being on one in Cairns. My mate's on one in Cairns, and the girls look fine, okay? And he gets a lot of answers back up there because they don't have the millions of people to sort through, But there is no way other than online dating these days, because of hashtag Me Too and all of those things. You can't just go over to a girl for no reason, cold call these days and go, hey, how you going? Do you want to hold my hand?
Which is a shame, because I'm kind of waiting for that, and men don't seem to do it anymore. But now I understand why.
Yeah.
Why? But look, it's just gonna be another adventure.
Look at this one. Courtesy enlistment date.
8th of March.
I thought that was 6th. Infantry.
It's 8th of March for infantry. Got my hair cut today because I didn't want to be the guy who rocks up.
Now, Jamie Lee Curtis, no way, mate. Well, like PK said, congratulations. But you should be aiming to turn up to Kapuka with the longest hair that you can possibly have, because they're going to cut it off anyway. And even if you turn up there and you've had a haircut, they're going to make you get a haircut, unless you're a woman.
Which is a whole nother subject that really gets my goat.
I haven't got a goat.
It does. I get mighty, and I know you hate this word, I get mighty cromedy about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big Man said, Sugar Daddy Kaz taking girls back to his van. Yeah, when you get the Magic Mystery van, you're going to have it.
As long as it's not white, it's legit.
Yeah.
I'll go up to a beautiful woman and go, do you want to come and see my puppy?
Oh, yeah, in my van. Oh, no, that's a bit creepy.
When people talk about, for example, someone's talked about Leonardo DiCaprio before, how we can get the girls of his age. I'm telling you now, if you're a 50-year-old guy, you don't want to be having long, drawn-out conversations with a 25-year-old girl, because when you get older, there is so much of your life that you don't want to be explaining everything that should be a flowing conversation.
Exactly. It's great to meet someone on an intellectual level where you can bounce off each other and talk about interesting things that you're interested in.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't imagine how hard it must be for people that are dating and they actually meet up with someone who looks nothing like the brochure. How do you tell them, oh, yeah, right.
That's even happened to me. That's happened to me once.
Yeah.
That's happened to me. Fat fella has got an enlistment date for what, the 8th of February? Is that right, fat fella? I hope you're not fat anymore.
Yeah, you got to do something about that.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
Where there's smoke, there's fire, sir. I've got to get out of here in 2 seconds. Where is it? I just saw the question. Okay, PK. Straight down there. He says, Kaz, Trump or DeSantis for 2024? Straight up Trump. You can't go against him until he says his day is done. He achieved so much with the entire US corruption team against him. He has to be able to get a chance. And you know what? No one could be worse than what's there at the moment. You could get any Democrat too that would still do a better job than what's happening there at the moment. And for those that don't know, Jill Biden is not a doctor. She was a teacher. So stop saying it.
The difference. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're right, David Penson. If the vans are rocking, don't bother knocking.
Unless you're the opposite sex, and then you can join in.
Yeah, I know. Come on, that's super creepy. Kaz, I'm 52. Don't think I would ever get married again. Been there, done that. But you know, I wouldn't either. I don't even think I'd live with someone again because I think I just enjoy my own space again. But it would be nice to, love her, or something.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's, in the history of the world, a man has never made love. We don't do it.
But can you just pretend for us?
It's so cheesy. We just have sex.
We love it.
Yeah. Yeah, we love a steak sandwich, but you don't make them.
What if I make one afterwards? Would you pretend then?
The little sandwiches.
Yeah, little ones.
Every man goes back to his childhood when you're making little triangle sandwiches.
It's a
Woo!
good one.
So good. He doesn't like tacos.
Who doesn't like tacos?
Tacos, I love them. They're pretty much my favourite food. Apart from the fantastic Wagyu beef balls, okay, that are the same size as an Italian's balls, that are at Aldi. So good. So good.
Mason Thomas has a question.
Yeah.
He said, not sure if it was covered, just got back from dinner, but what are your thoughts on us being in the Solomon Islands? Well, we've been there before.
Yeah, we've been there a bunch of times. The Solomon Islands, is one of those places when you go over there, they don't dislike Australians. We go over there as intermediary people. It's no fluke that we go there as white soldiers so that you can see we are completely different. It worked in Africa too, where there's no real bias there. You go there, lovely people. They don't like the corruption that's happening in their own country. When you come over there, you give their kids some fruit, you be nice to them, you treat them with some compassion and some respect. Lovely people. But when you're in a country that has poverty, okay, and adverse conditions, righto, and corruption, they've got every right to be angry. They really do. They'd be making a really big mistake if they allow China in. Yep.
Sorry, Leo cracked me up.
Leo always cracks me up.
Yeah, Leo said if you go for more than 3 minutes, it's making love.
Yep, like I said, don't believe in it, never done it. That's not true, Nev.
Yeah, Nev's actually a bit of I hate to say it, a bit of a scaredy cat because you really sort of some of the stuff you're saying tonight, we've had to get rid of a couple of them because it's kind of scaremongering. And I think it really is just showing us that you're very afraid. And I think you don't really need to be jumping at shadows.
Look, at the end of the day, there is not a group on this world that had it good 100 years ago. No one.
Exactly. We got it real good now. And also, don't believe all the hype. You don't have to be scared of everything the media tells you to be scared of.
As a matter of fact, I wouldn't look at Channel 7, 9 and 10 ever.
Yeah, exactly. Look, what's going to happen will happen. Meet it when it comes to you.
Yep.
We've got a good nation. We've got a good military. We've got, we really do live very, very well.
Yeah. We're not the land of the free, but but the costs aren't too high either.
Exactly, and we have great healthcare. We whinge about a lot, but we have welfare. We have healthcare. We have good roads generally, unless you're in Victoria. And you've got good stuff. So we've actually got it really good. Remember, even our poorest people are in the top 1% of the entire world.
Yep, and we've got the fattest poor people too.
Yeah, let's get it in perspective.
Hey, Matty, I totally agree there too, mate. New Zealand has got them in there deep as well. And Caladar the Dragon. We're about to get off now so I can ring up my little girl. The last couple of questions, and Caladar, iconic means?
Let me read it.
Yep.
It says, thanks for the videos over a year. I was going for the army, but unfortunately that fell through. But the confidence I gained getting myself ready helped me land the dream job. I'm so glad.
What was your dream job?
Yeah, we're interested to know, but we also don't want you to not come back here if you didn't get in. We're there for the whole long haul, for the whole journey.
Yep. Nev, Canberra's a Trojan horse. mate, but people could say it regardless of any country, you know.
Exactly, Nev. And we need government because you're always going to have government. If you're a bit of an anarchist, you're probably in the wrong place because.
And the first things anarchists do is have leaders within their group.
Exactly.
Yep.
You're either under an organised government that has to give you roads and hospitals, or you're warlords who take your pick. Rusty Gypsy Roving says, "Hi Kaz, have you seen Buck's last video?"
No, but I'm going to go down and watch it now.
They got the Rona.
Ah,
I hope they get better soon.
my second favourite beer. I'll go and message him and see how he's going.
Good idea. Yeah.
All right, team. I've got to go and say goodbye. Got to go and see the little one. Guys and gals, bring your tough questions here. Congratulations to everyone that's about to begin this year in the footsteps of the Anzacs. You know, remember, don't hold people accountable for the sins of their father. You can't do that, you know, because otherwise you can be blamed for any one of things that you've never done, couldn't have done. Live your life, you know, be as happy as you can. Have a milkshake, have a cup of coffee, help people in the street. And don't forget to laugh yourself and tell your mum and dad you love them if you do. Either way, thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for the members. Thanks for the shekels. Thanks for everything you've done.
Yeah. Thank you, Kaz, for giving us another year in trenches with you.
We're back and we're worth it. Gotta go. Sorry, guys. See you later. Hillary Clinton's ringing.